half guard, he's got a crossface and an underhook, and he's got me pinned. Okay. So typically things we try to do here is, for example, switch to a better guard. That's pretty self-explanatory. We'll try to do things like hip escape, get butterfly hooks, maybe pummel this leg over, look to escape our middle leg and get close guard. Okay. Or even things like getting underhooks. Okay. But if he's really tight here, especially if they're bigger than you, a lot of times it's going to be very hard to do if he's good at half guard passing. So we're going to look at a technique for sweeping and at the very least off balance in here. So we're going to work on what we call a knee lever or a John Wayne sweep, as some people like to refer to. Okay. So some things to think about. If I'm committing to this, I'm actually trying to keep him in this position. So what that's going to entail is really getting busy with my middle leg, the leg that's controlling his knee here. So what I'm looking to do with that middle leg is, typically when you have a half guard, it's almost like a triangle. Okay, your middle leg's perpendicular. I'm looking to unlock that triangle and actually bring this parallel and wedge my foot to his knee. Okay, that's typically going to be supported by my outside foot. So when I want to go for this position, I'm going to pull my foot in and I'm going to reinforce with my other foot. I can just cross that over the top. In some situations, especially if he's trying to bring his knee off the ground, I'll step on my own foot too. Okay. I'm going to have my free hand on this side as a frame. Eventually, when I go to hit the sweep, I'm going to use it to off balance him further to the side. Now, if I'm looking to sweep him with this, I want to make sure that Joe doesn't have the ability to post out. We talked about this a lot when we were working in mount. So with my overhook arm, I'm basically going to hold him in the underhook here. So I'm going to take my elbow and I'm going to pinch it to his. Okay. Now, when I'm ready to go for this off balance, I'm going to make very particular motions with my lower body. My right hip is going to slide under him. I'm going to start to bring my butt off the ground. It's going to be a very small bridge because your feet are so close together. And the main movement is a tilt of my knees to the outside. Okay. So 1, okay, up 2, and I tilt my knees and I push with that hip. Okay. And we'll come to the top. Resting. Okay. I want you to keep resting. Let's take a look at the leverage he has against my knee. See, that's pretty mobile, right? It's coming through the gas and everything. Now, let's talk about when Ulysses starts engaging this motion more. He's pulling this heel into my knee. He's reinforcing here. Now watch. I'm lifting him off the ground. Okay? You're literally holding onto the knee like your heels are hands. Does that make sense? That's what you really need to get a feel for to really understand this movement. Good? Okay. Crossface. This is a crossface underhook. Okay. Some of you are doing this. This is a headlock. Okay. What's the problem with this? Ulysses can cut out to the side pretty easy. Yeah. And now we're looking at getting our back taken. Something else pretty fast. So from here, feet in. Okay. Making sure we're covering that underhook. I'm still framing on the inside of the sit here. Okay. I'm adjusting my hips under him. I'm bridging, and as I bridge, I just rotate my knees like a windshield wipers. Okay. But don't open your knees. Once he falls to his side, that's when I'll open my feet. Start to look again on top. Off the knee lever, okay? Or just in general, if we're not fast enough at getting any type of leverage over this leg, he's gonna look to start stepping this leg up. Right, okay? Now, can the last one still work here? Absolutely. I could still bind to his knee here and look to stomp this down, okay? But at a certain point, he's gonna have pretty good base here. Yeah, especially if that leg gets nice and high. So, another central part of this week is going to be really not taking our butterfly grip or butterfly hooks for granted. Okay? In butterfly guard, for example, that's an easy thing to do because it's so dynamic, lots of ways to attack. Here, it's pretty dire. Like if I'm going to use a butterfly hook to defend, I need to be very particular about how I use it. So, from here, we're going to look to hip escape to the outside as he's posting this knee. That's going to give us space and mobility to pummel the outside hook in. Now, this is going to be exactly what I'm talking about here. You're not going to pummel this in and leave your foot relaxed. Ulysses back step fast. Okay. He could drive over for a body lock fast. Lots of bad stuff here. Yeah. So when he steps up here, okay, let's say he goes to back step again. I'm tracing this leg. I'm staying attached to this leg. This is a very important part of playing butterfly hook. This is good. I have a good start here, but he's still got me flattened out here, okay? Some things people try to do here is like they'll try to hip escape and bring the other knee in for butterfly guard. That can't work, but still, especially against somebody bigger, you're flat. So we're gonna look at one way of many to off balance him here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my foot that's on the ground and I'm gonna step on his calf, okay? Kind of similar to how we did to our own calf when we did Aoki locks. Now the motion here is gonna be an extension. I'm gonna keep this good connection here and I'm gonna extend my bottom leg on his calf to start taking that weight off of me. Now as I take that weight off of me, there should be room to pummel in. And now we can go to butterfly guard and then, later on, we can look at ways to start attacking right away. All right, so Grant posts his leg right away. I need to position myself up here. I can't let these knees slide down his knee. Okay, stay on your knee. Okay, quiet. Okay. So from here, I hip escape, push his leg out, pummel this foot in. Okay, I stretch. That's going to give me just enough room I need to get my frame in here. Once I frame and I start making space here, I'm going to look to pummel my underhook, and we'll be in a pretty good butterfly guard with this 2-on-1. Now guys, remember, as you're doing all this and you get your butterfly hook, you are not leaving this top foot dead. He's going to feel that and he's going to backstep. Yes. This foot needs to track his top leg, so if Grant does that again, see, I'm always staying attached to this foot. Make sense? First orientation for the top person is going to be one of two ways most people are going to approach this faster half guard. Okay? Traditional crossface underhook, we're on our knees. Okay? The second way, which is pretty common as well, is again at any point, whether it's here in turn or as late as the knee shield, people will try to bring this arm over. Okay? So we're going to look at two stages here. My tricep to his neck, or my tricep to his lat. Okay? Now, guys, take note here. Over, good. He's got his weight in this scenario across my shoulder line, okay? Across both shoulder blades here. Guys, look at what I did right away. I kept my knees above his knee, just like last time. All right? Now, the benefit of doing tricep to neck here is look at what's right in front of Grant, my arm. It's going to be very easy for him to attack this. So right away, I want to get my half guard high and I want to take away half of his threats here. So I'm going to carefully place this underhook. I'm not going to underhook here between the armpit and hip. It's going to be very easy for him to retract his right arm and catch my wrist. Yeah. I want to go for his shoulder and I want to try to reach for his back here. So now if he tries to grab my wrist, it's very hard to pin it for a submission. Okay? Guys, don't go to this side. Again, this is going to be a little bit weaker. It's going to affect our follow-ups here. And potentially, if this arm is under my neck, like last time, you could arm triangle me. So keep the arm on the far side here. All right? Now, we're going to make that same butterfly hook that we made last time. Here, guys, again, it's not going to be a case of like you just simply moving your legs around. Okay? You guys probably felt that was pretty hard. You need to extend your legs in this position and use that pinch of your knees to do like mini hip escapes here. Okay? Now, once I do that, I can start pummeling my feet in. Okay? Whichever foot I'm not pummeling with first, I'll try to stretch my other leg to continue to make space as well. Okay? So let's say, for example, I'm going for my top foot first. I'm going to extend my right leg so I can pummel that butterfly hook in. Okay? Once I pummel the butterfly hook in, I'll extend with it to get my right foot in. We're always compounding those details. Okay? Now, from here, two things can typically happen. Let's see first, ideally, what we can do. I'm going to stretch my legs into him. As I do that, I'm going to punch this arm. If he starts going backwards and he's not showing any resistance back, I'm going to post my bottom foot and come to the top. Okay? So, reaction one. I'm here, I get a good off balance, I feel him tipping back, he's not pushing me. I take him over. So, get the half guard high, get over the shoulder, stretch, pummel the legs in, stretch, way, I'll take him over, okay? If he is coming back this way, I'll frame, get my knee in, and then I'll get my butterfly guard here. Make sense? Actually play half guard bottom like this, they'll force the arm to that side. They'll go to things like what we call octopus guard. There's some people that prefer to pass like this too. It's really just a matter of like who's trying to play what game. Me personally, I do not like to be here. Okay? It's just like, but the good news is like he's not going to threaten a submission on his arm anymore. Well, what his pin tells me now is that he's in the middle of my body. It's like a central pin. This is really hard to get out of and adjust from. Versus the last one, he was just over my shoulders. It was a lot easier to move and maneuver with my legs. Okay. So the first danger here is Grant crawling up. He backs his hips up and he brings this elbow nice and high. He's going to have my arms over my head. This is not good. Okay. So right away, what I want to do is I want to make frames here. I'm going to frame on the hip just like we did that butterfly guard last time. And this frame here is going to be like an L draping across his spine. I want it to be a push. Okay, guys, don't make this mistake of doing a tight waist here and pulling. We're not tight waisting right now because we're being bent. Okay? We're not going to do that until we get up. We need to push. All right. Now, just like last time, look at my legs. They're above the half guard, above his knee. I'm going to stretch my legs here. And as I stretch my legs, I'm looking to make this one motion. I stretch my legs. I bring my bottom elbow over my head, and I build a base here. Stretch, elbow up, and I get to my elbow. If I can get to my elbow here, I'm in a pretty decent shape. Okay? So, once we get here, I still want to push. I still want to extend my legs. What I'm looking to do next is to basically do a technical stand-up here. Unless you're bigger and stronger than the other person or really athletic, you're typically not going to go this way. He's going to push right back into me, right? So I need to turn my chest this way. My chest goes this way. Bring my bottom knee up. And now we're almost in like a 50-50 position here. Okay? I'm going to look to mitigate that right away. You guys see my left leg? I'm extending. Okay? I want my knee always past his knee. So if I have my left leg here, that tells me that he shouldn't get that detail on me right away. Try to bring your knee past. Okay? I can fight with this like much easier. Okay? Even if he does things like, good, step over it, he's really giving me what I want here. Okay? So, what do I want? You can do that, but I want to slide this knee through this gap. Okay? As I slide the knee through, guys, it's basically a chair sit back take motion. You keep your heel tight to your butt, you slide this past. Now, once we're on our hip, we're going to switch arms. Okay? I got control of his waist. Now, really the means to an end here would be a back take. If you're doing a back take where you're pulling somebody down, like where your legs between their legs, it's very important you control this hand. This is what I've been seeing a lot this week. So if I go for the back here, Grant's gonna feel that and he's gonna start to come up. And when he comes up, he's gonna look to get an underhook. He's gonna look to get a whizzer if he can't get an underhook. And that's when we're just gonna get our guard back, okay? But if you wanna maintain your progress here, watch. If it's no-gi, I'm gonna grab the top of his hand, okay? Like Grant's on his first date at the movies, just here. All right, here. Like that. Try to lift your arm up. See? He has to really fight to get this back, and while he's doing that, I'm gonna take his back. If it's gi, this is, in my opinion, a little bit stronger. I'll make a grip here on his sleeve, and I'll stretch my elbow, okay? Bring your hand up now. It's very difficult. And now from here, I should have ample time to scoot out and start connecting to his back. Framing, extending, elbow over the head. That's where we're trying to get. We can't stay here too long, guys. If we do, he's gonna keep backing into me and eventually you will fall back down to your shoulder, okay? So don't get like too comfortable here, okay? Stretch, okay? Bring that bottom knee out. In certain situations, especially if we're scrambling a lot here, there's a lot of movement, I can stay here and just go for it. But for right now, I want you guys to practice the full range of motion. I want you to come all the way up to your knee here, okay? Keep this leg extended. I'm gonna slide my knee behind his knee. I'm gonna start turning to my hip, switching my tight waist. Now that I'm on top, it is a tight waist. I'm gonna block this hand so he doesn't